welcome to the 25th Annual New Ventures BC Competition presented by Innovate BC. Okay, so we're going to take, I know the networking part is the fun part, but we're going to take about 30-ish, just over 30 minutes to tell you a few things and also do a short panel with some of last year's winners. So today is kind of a mix. It's for companies who have entered already for this year to get to know some of the community. It's for our wonderful volunteer community to reconnect and meet both startups and each other. And it's for companies who are thinking of attending but want to check something out first before deciding to just learn a bit more. So we're going to hopefully hit all those points today. So first, I'd like to acknowledge that we are very lucky to be on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. And I would also next like to just give acknowledgement to the organizations that help make this competition happen each year. So competition's been going for 25 years. I'd say 85% of these sponsors have been with us since year one. So it's incredible. So title sponsor, Innovate BC. And this year, we're also proud to be part of Innovate BC in the province of BC's Road to Web Summit series. So the Road to Web, you'll hear more about that. So I don't need to say anything. You're going to hear the word Web Summit a lot in the coming weeks. Gold sponsor, our venue sponsor, I believe, is next. So Fasken, also our gold sponsor, but thank you for providing the venue to us today. They are a gold sponsor as well, along with EY. Silver sponsors include RBCX, SFU BD School of Business, Talk Shop Media, Vantech Angel Network, and then we have a whole load of wonderful ecosystem partners as bronze and media sponsors as well, and they are listed here. Okay, I gotta look at my notes, sorry. So before we get into the competition, I'm going to first introduce Ginny from Innovate BC. She's going to tell you about previously named Web Summit for a couple minutes, just so you know what it is before we jump in, and then we'll tell you about the competition and then into the panel. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Angie. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, it's such a full house. So my name is Ginny. I'm the Director for Marketing and Communications at Innovate BC. And it's such a pleasure to be here. I have to remember, I think when I joined the organization a few years ago, the New Ventures BC Competition Awards was actually the very first ecosystem event I attended. And the day before I attended, I was told the companies that come through this competition are the ones to watch. And they truly are year after year. So congratulations to last year's winners. And congratulations to all of you for applying this year. And if you haven't applied, I think there's still a few days, right? So really take advantage of this amazing competition. A big kudos to Angie and the New Ventures BC team. They do an amazing job. And this is why Innovate BC is so proud year after year to come in as the title sponsor. I don't know how many years it's been. I always say 10 plus. Yeah, 10 plus, just because it really is, it's not just a competition, it's like weeks long of like mentorship and coaching and just a wonderful competition at the end. So good luck to everyone and apply if you haven't. Just a little bit about Innovate BC. If you're not aware about who we are the Crown Agency for the province of British Columbia. And our mandate really is to support tech ventures like yourself to grow and scale in British Columbia to build the economic prosperity for our province. So if you're not aware of us, check out our website. We have a number of programs available to support you in your growth, for anything from IP to mentorship and a bunch of other programs. So check us out or talk to any members of our team, including Fernanda here, Shirley, we have Kobe as well. Feel free to reach out. We would love to tell you more about how we can support you. And now I'll move on to our newest program, which is called the Road to Web Summit Vancouver. And it's the latest sort of initiative that we're launching with the 15 plus partners across BC. And really this initiative is to support BC Tech Ventures to take advantage of this amazing opportunity that's coming to our doorstep. Can I get a show of hands? Is anyone attending or has applied for the Web Summit conference? Amazing. We've heard from the Web Summit team that there's a really strong BC showing, which is incredible. If you haven't applied already, there is still time, a few weeks left for you to get your application in for the Web Summit Startup Program. It's going to be an amazing opportunity. So just in a nutshell, Web Summit will bring the global market to our doorstep. And this includes 600 investors from around the globe, 120 companies, actually in 120 countries, sorry, as well as over 500 global media. And our Road to Web Summit initiative is really to help you capitalize on this opportunity. So we have a series of events and programs from now through to the conference. We encourage you to take advantage of them. This includes New Ventures VC's competition and other initiatives, as well as other programs. Yeah, UBC's here and VEF. So check out our website. There's a lot for everyone. We highly encourage you to take advantage of this. And this includes, maybe to the next slide, we have next week, we have an investor readiness webinar. If you haven't signed up already, please take advantage of it. We have investors that represent folks from around the globe. It should be a really amazing discussion. And our next event this one is on April 9th. This is a hybrid event at the Microsoft office. We have, again, I mentioned there's 500 global media attending Web Summit. We want to make sure that you know how to capitalize on that opportunity, tell great stories, and we have this amazing event with folks from the Vancouver Tech Journal and others to really talk about how you can hone in on your pitch. So please come out. We would love to see you there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Innovate BC. Okay, so for the competition, back to the competition. So for those unaware, it's a up to 6-month competition. It's BC's largest competition, 4 rounds. There is $250,000 in non-dilutive cash and prizes, many of them thanks to our title sponsor, Innovate BC, of course. But our objective is always, I always say to companies, they're like, well, am I going to win? And I say, well, maybe, but 200 companies, 6 prizes, so no guarantees. So our hope is you will get benefit through the process. So companies get benefit in different ways. Some just want to answer the questions, go through the process, because our hope is the questions you answer for the competition are also going to help your company. Second, people enter our various education events. They start actually this coming Saturday and then will happen weekly between now and the end of May. Is that me? Okay. And then as you get further into the competition, there's mentorship, and you're also getting feedback from the various jury rounds as well. And I often tell companies, this is your chance to get some, very direct, short feedback from people that don't really need to be nice to you. They'll tell you what they think. And that sometimes is what you need. And if that feedback matches what you've been hearing, well, then maybe you should listen to it, right? But Floyd, he is our mentor jury wrangler. He just wants to say a couple words about the mentoring of the volunteers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Floyd. If you haven't seen me before, I am the mentor wrangler at New Ventures BC, as we lovingly call it. I wanted to highlight one of the key things, I think one of the key benefits that a company gets when they join the New Ventures BC competition is access to the significant volunteer roster of amazing people associated with the competition who give up their time to help companies, not just in judging and grading them, but also mentoring them and providing feedback. And seeing it from start to finish, I can tell you it's pretty beautiful to watch how some companies in particular go from first submission, and then there's various stages in the competition. They get mentoring from experts, and then you see their last submissions and last pitches, and they can be significantly better. And it's pretty awesome to watch. And for many people, this competition provides a way to access expertise they might otherwise not. And I would like to highlight, we have had over 360 people, volunteers associated with the competition over the years, and active at any moment are a little over 200 every year. It's a good amount of people. These are all ex-founders, CEOs, people that exited, academic domain experts, really high level and rather amazing people. And what I'm doing this year as well is go much more granular in terms of figuring out whose expertise is what with keywords, so I can really maximize my efforts when I'm, picking people to focus on specific companies, both in judging as well as mentoring. This is also a resource I would like to make available to the volunteers themselves, because as I go deeper and deeper into this roster with various expertises, I can also run introductions to get you to a person who knows a lot about something specific. So if you have a question like that, as a volunteer, please don't hesitate to reach out. I offer my services accordingly. Thank you very much to everyone involved, and there's many of you here. You're awesome people.
They are. And don't forget the best part about volunteering, Floyd. Many of you are wearing the swag, and I see lots of vests being rocked. I was team vest. So I'm glad many of you are. Okay, so yeah, we did an info session that's linked online. There's more details online. Feel free to ask us if you have any questions. Go online. We are here. Deadline is this coming Monday at midnight, so you can apply. It's a pretty simple form. Don't spend too much time on this form. It's an eligibility check. Save your time for the next round because that's when it really matters. But don't hear it just from us. We have a great panel of last year's companies to tell you more about themselves and a little bit about their competition experience. And Fernanda Whitaker is from Director of Partnerships at Innovate BC. She's going to moderate. So I'll pass it over to you to introduce this great group.
Thank you. Thank you, Angie. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be moderating this panel today. I've been with Innovate BC for about more than 8 years now. And as Jeannie mentioned, our agency delivers funds and supports a series of important programs that help grow the tech ecosystem in BC. But between us, New Ventures BC competition is my favorite. I really love, I think there's something special about New Ventures BC team, the commitment and energy of the team, the mentors that support the competition, the collaborators, but above all is really the impact of the competition on the founders that join the competition. So, and that's what we are here for today. It's a privilege to have winners from last year's competition to share their journeys, their challenges, and some tips or suggestions and about their participation. So so let's get to it. So if you're still considering whether or not apply, I hope this is for you to get some good insights and hear from the winners. So before you share your experience with the competition, I just want you to share a little bit on your journey. So I would like to start with a round of introductions, and just to make it a little bit more interesting, I would ask you to introduce yourself, give the audience your best 30-second pitch, elevator pitch, not 30-minute, 30-second elevator pitch about your organization. And share why you started your business.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for inviting me to get back here. It's amazing to reconnect with many of you that I had the privilege to meet before and to meet the new people here. My name is Kamyab Zandi. I go with the name K, just the letter K, if that's easier to remember. And just a little bit about myself before I get to TIMEZYX. I used to be a university professor. I did my PhD in structural engineering at Chalmers in Sweden. Then I became an associate professor in Sweden. And I was also had the privilege to be a visiting professor at Stanford in aerospace engineering. And it was 2021 that I quit my academic job. And together with my co-founder, Adele, we started the company TIMEZYX. At TIMEZYX, we believe that we actually tackle a big problem. So more than 50% of national wealth of Western countries are tied up in built environment, roads, bridges, high-rise buildings, dams, and so on. But the major problem is that a major part of this infrastructure has been built many decades ago, where the idea of climate change and extreme climate events that did not exist as significant as it does today. So our infrastructure has been designed based on methods that did not incorporate what needed to be accounted for. And then people actually do simulations of understanding how extreme climate events impact our structures. But there is a big problem there. Often my colleagues in industry, they do purely physics-based simulations. What we enable at TIMEZYX is that the physics-based simulations of any type of your structure will communicate with the actual structure through the data. So we use satellite data to watch infrastructures and update the physics-based simulations. That's it.
Okay.
We're really happy to be here, so thank you for having us. So I am Mallory Flynn, I'm the CEO and a co-founder of Insporos, and I'm here with my co-founder Amanda sitting next to me. I can introduce what we do a little bit, and she can talk about why we started this company. But basically, the short answer is we scan seeds. So up to 50% of seeds that are planted in our greenhouses are actually never becoming mature plants that yield fruits, fruits and vegetables, tomatoes and cucumbers and peppers primarily is what we're working with. And we want to affect this by essentially scanning these seeds before they're planted, because many of these problems are actually due to defects in the seed. So we've developed like an intelligent seed sorter, which is analyzing each individual seed and taking out those defective seeds before they're planted. And this is actually saving a huge amount of resources because the volume in our commercial greenhouses is so immense. And I'll pass to Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I am, CTO of Insporos, and I'm finishing up my PhD in chemistry. Mallory has her PhD in machine learning. And so when we met each other, we knew we wanted to have a startup, but we didn't exactly know what we wanted the startup to be. And so having a background in chemistry and hers in machine learning, we knew there's a lot of opportunities. And so what we did is we did our ideation and thought of a bunch of ideas that we could have. And then we went out to do our customer interviews to really validate whether those were viable options. And it just so happened that within agriculture, there seems to be this problem across all seed types, which Mallory highlighted, non-germination, diseases, defects in the seeds. And we realized that after doing some preliminary testing that we could predict a lot of this. And so with that prediction, we realized there is an idea here. It's a working idea. And so we're excited to really continue to move forward with the startup. I guess, you have.
Go.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for having me again. This is actually last year was my second time at New Ventures. I did it first time in 2008, and I did it again last year, so 16 years apart, both very successful. The company I'm with now, I'm the CEO of a company called yPilot, and we build AI-first solutions in financial services. So my last company in the first round of New Ventures, we sold, and I went to work for a large software company based in Switzerland. And like in corporate life, you just find that there's so many opportunities that the big companies aren't, engaging. And me and several colleagues we talked for years about how we were going to start a company and fix those problems. We never did, until the generative AI revolution came out, and those technologies we just saw immediately we could solve problems that you just couldn't solve before, or we could solve them at a price that you couldn't solve them before. So that was the genesis of leaving that company and starting yPilot. So now we're focused on solving a few different problems in financial services, compliance, open banking, and credit. And things are going great. So we're happy to be back here at the New Ventures. Thank you.
It's great, Todd. So let's continue with you. And you're a serial entrepreneur. You've already started a business before. So why did you apply for the competition? Why did you join the competition?
For those of you that know Bob DeWitt, so he was the director in my first round. And when I left my previous business, I reached out to Bob. We had coffee, and he said, "Are you going to join New Ventures this year?" And it was, I think it was February or March. And I said, "When's the deadline?" He goes, 2 days. I'm like, oh, crap. But actually, the Gen AI helped me get my first submission in, and we passed round one. The reason I joined it was, I was in corporate life for 10, 11 years, and it's a totally different life than the entrepreneurial life, and it's a decade's a lifetime in the world of technology. So I thought I would need to refresh my skills, re-meet a bunch of people, and see if I could do it again. And it was a good kind of low friction way to do that. And it's been very successful for us.
Amanda or Mallory, do you want to share why you joined?
Yeah, so we joined New Ventures BC in 2023 when we were literally a brand new company. I don't even think we were incorporated yet when we had to get that first application in. And so it was too early, but it was more so for experience. And we could see right away that was going to be one way to meet this really, what is a tight-knit community, like the ecosystem in Vancouver, and that might be a good opportunity for that, and to get more experience pitching and refining our business plan and communicating that message. So in a similar vein, we both come from the world of academia. And so it's a lot different than the business world, and delivering those messages is different. And this seemed like an awesome opportunity to practice doing so.
And your product, you hadn't commercialized it yet, right? It was.
No, that's right. Yes.
Okay.
Just to provide a bit of context, so we have started TIMEZYX in May 21, but we've done quite a bit of work before incorporating the company in terms of defining the problem, but also understanding what type of solutions we want to implement. So when we started in May 2021, for about 2.5 years, me and a team of about 10 people, we were just completely 100% in our basement doing the work, implementing what we thought is the need for the industry. So we launched our service in December 23. And then after the holidays in January 24, then my co-founder reminded that now we need to make some revenue. And the most important thing was just to get out and meet with people. And again, she reminded me that there was a reason as to why we chose to move to Vancouver. We actually moved to Vancouver in 2020 for a business. The reason was we thought that Vancouver is a good place to grow the business. And then we look at the ecosystem, we realized that there are so many components and many entry doors into that ecosystem. But then our conclusion was that New Venture BC is an amazing, amazing opportunity, even though we will not make it, but we will go through it because that's the right time. So there's a question, if you still have the same question, as to why you participate. And we clicked on networking. We would like to network with people. So that was the reason why and how we joined the New Venture BC competition.
Did you get what you expected? So can you tell us a little bit about your biggest takeaways? And
I think there are so many components into the competition. It's the biggest, the longest competition for sure, but also I think all the education that you as an entrepreneur go through during that 6 months is amazing. And I confess that we believe that we are on a lower caliber startup going into that competition. We really did not think that we will make it to the final stage. But having amazing mentors, that really, really helped. So I think Bruce can talk about how awful our first submission was and how much we improved. And I think that's one component, the education aspect. The second important thing is what happens afterwards. I think being on the map through the recognitions we got, it was phenomenal for us. Number one, we started to believe ourselves more than what we believed ourselves before the competition. Number two, investors were open to discuss with us. And number three is that the package, the price package, was amazing for us. I think we really tried to use different components, and I think we succeeded to some extent. But the most important thing that we got out of it, I think that was really the education during that 6 months. I think that we would have get to this point maybe 5 years out if we had the energy to go that long term. But within that 6 months, we really managed to get something very valuable.
That's awesome. Mallory? Do you want to share your takeaways? Or Amanda?
I have to agree. It's the educational part of it is really important. The mentorship is important, but also the other founders that you meet. I think there's a really great community in Vancouver where if founders are talking to each other, we can learn about different investors, different pitch styles, because every investor seems to want something very different. And you kind of go in meeting an investor, you do your research, you try and figure out as much about them as you can, but if you don't talk to another founder, you don't really know the full story about how you should target your pitch towards them. So definitely the other founders have been great, especially for learning about different grants that we can access, because as a new company, you don't have the same funding that these other later stage startups might have. And so in order to find these smaller little grants or smaller pitch competitions to supplement those little grants, it's really the other founders that help you find those. And so I would say that's been a really great takeaway, the people that we've been able to meet that have been able to help us grow our business and make really important connections that continue to allow us to grow our business.
Yeah, first, I would kind of highlight 3 points, I think. I mean, first of all, being in the competition gives you a little bit more weight as a company. Being lucky enough to be selected as one of the winners kind of steps that up a little bit. So in your conversations with investors, other companies, clients, et cetera, it definitely gives you that initial leg up. Number two, the mentors kind of speak for themselves. Great folks with different expertise in different areas. So for us, it was investing in sales, and especially in sales, he gave us some really practical advice that we took to heart and implemented immediately. I think the third thing is focus. So I can attest to, you know, some of the mentors aren't necessarily, or judges aren't necessarily that nice in some of the meetings. I experienced that firsthand. But I think, and I tell my own, you know, people that are working with us this, can you write it down for me, right? Can you document it? And if you can't write it down and simplify it, you don't understand it, which is why the New Ventures BC process makes you document, makes you refine the pitch, which really makes you understand what you're actually trying to do. And that for us was one of the main things, because I think at the start, well, I know at the start, we were wavering a bit on a couple of different ideas, but the judges and the mentors really, really focused us, which is exactly where we are today. So that was really beneficial for us specifically.
That's great. And you all mentioned mentorship as one of the key takeaways. So was there any particular moment in the competition or any advice that kind of stuck with you and was really, really valuable?
To me first? Well, I mentioned kind of the sales mentorship, and he was very experienced in selling similar products to what we've had in the SaaS world. And he said, just give the product away for free. I said, you're crazy. We're not giving the product away for free. But obviously, you need to get those early users to get that feedback, to get, you know, rolling on your product roadmap and all those things. And we haven't implemented it all free, but certainly we've given some early trials away that have really helped us accelerate the product. So that's probably one thing that stands out in my mind.
I actually don't have a very specific example, but what we really valued was our two mentors were very different. And so just getting that difference of opinion, I think is really valuable. Obviously, everybody has a different opinion, but also seeing that from that level as well. And they both contributed in a completely different way. Really valuable feedback to everything along the way for us.
I think for me, you have to remember that I used to be in academia, and I always, when I quit my academic job, I really struggle to change my attitude that it's no longer a research team that I'm leading, it's now a business team that I'm leading. And I think maybe it was Bruce that mentioned that well, after the first meeting we had, a virtual meeting, and I presented, and I think Bruce said, well, it's a very interesting project. And I took that really hard. I didn't think that I'm presenting a project. I thought that it's a real business. But looking at what we presented at the end, it was really one slide about the technology, and the rest was what it means to run a business of this scale. So I think sometimes we get comments from mentors that they don't really, maybe themselves, they are not aware exactly of how we receive those comments. But as a person that you are willing to receive mentorship, you have to really do your work. You have to be very open to receive those comments and really hopefully try to fix that problem moving forward.
Great, you already answered my next question. I was going to ask what's one piece of advice you'd give to someone considering entering the competition? So anything you want to complement? And I would like to hear from the others.
I think the only thing that I would say is that really our experience is it doesn't matter at which level you are in terms of your startup journey. There are so many important milestones, learning lessons to be taken by you and your team that it definitely will worth to go through that. So my understanding is that there is many things you can learn, even if you don't make it to the final stage. But if you make it, this is going to be amazing. So it will worth the risk. or the trouble.
My advice would have to be that if you're going through a pitch competition, to really take everything that is told to you with a grain of salt. You're going to get a lot of conflicting opinions from investors or mentors. And I think that goes back to what Mallory was saying. It was really great that we had two mentors that were at the complete opposite end of the spectrum with the advice that they were giving us, because then we could kind of find this nice middle ground. And some people will really know what they are talking about, and others might have no idea, but still continue to speak to you and tell you how to do your business. So it's really important to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'd just say, be ready for the work, and don't enter it unless you're willing to do the work and try to win, and try to succeed at it. Like, don't necessarily just join just to learn. Try to win, and that's going to focus you on just being better in the overall competition.
Great. I have maybe one more question, and I would like to open for the audience. But the last question I have is, it's been about 6 months since you've received your prizes and were crowned the winners. Where are you at now? Where is kind of your business, and how the competition has impacted that?
I give a brief answer to that. In terms of, I think that the most important sort of aspect of a business at this stage is really trying to capture valuable valuable investors. And our approach has been really turning to our potential customers and say that, do you agree with the problem you have? Do you agree the way we describe your problem? And when they say yes, and most often they are governments, we say that if you think that the problem is identified in the right way, do you agree that this solution, if it's implemented, will help you? They say, yeah, maybe 80%. Then we say that, well, then help us to get the financing we need. So we've been really now a lot more direct after the competition, because we have all that background to show that other people actually believed in us. So now that you are the subject matter expert, you can really understand what technology we are bringing in, and you have the biggest wallet. So open your wallet, pay us what we need to implement in terms of grants and financing, and we'll get back to you in a few months and we tell you what we have implemented. So I think that has been the most important thing that happened the last few months after the New Venture BC, being able to capture good fundings from potential customers in the future.
Yeah, 6 months. So I feel like 6 months ago was like a totally other world at Insporos. I think when we first applied for the NVBC competition, the first part of the application, I think, went in when there was just the two of us. So we're now a team of 10 plus some part-timers. We have some space. We're part of the innovation community at UBC, which has been amazing. We're in the Hatch space, the incubator there. There's lots of support there, lots of mentorship too. That's been really great for us. We have greenhouse space. We're growing thousands of plants every week. We've done 3 commercial trials. It's like a whole other world. But I do think that like this NVBC competition, as well as just sort of reaching out to the broader community in Vancouver, has been also what facilitated that and our growth along the way.
Congratulations.
Yeah, for us, we've been growing rapidly. I mean, on the back of the New Ventures competition, again, giving us that leg up, we were able to secure IRAP funding, which really helped us. And being a New Ventures winner really kind of helped us secure that. But for us, we're bootstrapping the company currently, so we're laser focused on getting clients, getting revenue, and building that roadmap, and having clients fund that roadmap. And it's about now, when we're absolutely positively sure of the tactical and strategic plans and know exactly where we need to raise that money into those plans, we'll do that. So we're engaged in kind of that fundraising activity now.
Should open for questions. Yeah, I have one here too. Should I? Good.
Thank you. So maybe for Amanda and Mallory, if you could rewind a year and go through New Ventures BC again, what would you do different?
Well, one thing that I can think of is I would plan our time a little bit better. We didn't think that we would make it all the way to the end, and then we ended up getting to that point, but it coincided with a trip to the Netherlands, which was a wonderful trip from the company's perspective and meeting customers over there. But we didn't get to be there for that final event, so I think definitely I would change that. That would have been really nice. Sorry, I don't have any other like specific. I think that yeah, I think that it was a really great, like we mentioned, like it was just a really great learning experience along the way. And I don't know that I would do anything that differently. We were where we were at the time. Doing it again this year would be very different. But yeah, I think we put in the effort that we could at the time.
We have a question over here.
The question is to all of the competitors. What do you think, in your own opinion, was it that made you get to the winning space? Was it the pain? Was it the presentation itself? If you were to boil it down to kind of the main thing, what do you think made you win?
I answered that question with one word. I think listening to the mentors, it was really important for us, and going through the education, but I think the mentorship was really a pivoting point for us to listen to the comments.
So based on that, how much time did you spend with your mentors? Because one of the things when I entered the competition, I had no idea what this process looked like. How much time would they give me? How much time could I ask for? How much time could I use?
I remember Floyd's presentation about this actually, when he was saying just bug your mentors nonstop and never stop. Remember that one, Floyd? Yeah. So we tried to do that. We tried to squeeze a lot from our mentors, and I think we got there. None of them are here, so it's good.
Take what you can take. That's the tip, right?
I guess this goes to Kay, who won the first prize. Did you have revenue when you won?
We did have some revenue, correct, yes. So between December to December 23 to September 24, we had just under 1 million in revenue, yes.
This is to all of you. Have there been any customer wins or product milestone or innovation wins since the competition?
I'm trying to remember exactly at what stage we were in. We might have still been in pieces, still putting things together, trying to figure out how things are working. Because before July, yeah, before July. So when we were starting out with our initial pre-seed fundraising, we didn't actually have anything. It was really an idea, and then we had to kind of convince different manufacturers to lend us pieces so we could try things. And really, like, when we were putting our initial experimental work together, it was pieced together from different components here and there, and really in my basement in the dark, like weird science that people seem to do when they're scientists. And so I think that by the time we were getting into the competition, we had just finished raising, or we're nearing the end of the fundraising. So we didn't really have a real piece of equipment. It was still really a magical box, and we still advertise it as this magical box, because if you were to look at our equipment now, it is really in like this magical wooden box. So the milestone I would say is that we really have a piece of equipment now. It moves very slowly, but that's why we're going into fundraising, to scale that technology. And now we're in a greenhouse and we're growing plants and really making predictions on this. So that's our big milestone. Oh yeah. Trials. We're actually working with real customers, which is really exciting. Sorry, main point. Yeah. Anything to add? Yeah.
I'll just add a little bit to that. if for us, since we work in a regulated industry, it was a big deal to get adopted by, some of the larger organizations, banks. So I think for us, a big win was closing a large bank in the United States, and having our platform vetted by their compliance and other teams. That's just going to lead to more things in the future, but that's one of our big wins.
Did New Ventures help you in finding early stage investors, and which of you are looking for capital now?
I can answer on our perspective. So it was a big support when we got New Venture BC winning position in terms of having the leverage to negotiate. We didn't raise any funding directly, so we had invested ourselves. But now we are going after customers' money to invest in us, because that's the money where they can really get the outcome directly in their operations. So we go after NRC, for example, to invest in us. We go after European Space Agency, where Canadian National Space Agency is a part of the European Space Agency, to invest in us. So these type of investment initiatives, yeah.
We didn't meet any investors through NVBC just because the networking events kind of fell right on the end of our pre-seed round. So nobody that we met invested because we hadn't had a round, but we are going into a fundraising round now as well. And for sure, like we've expanded our network through the competition.
Yeah, and as for me, that connective tissue definitely came true. So a person I met introduced me to another person who introduced me to another person, and we wound up getting an offer from that third kind of connection from the VC perspective. We haven't taken that up just yet, but talking to some other folks trying to find the right partner for us.
I hope, much better. Yes, well, I hope you've realized that we have a diversity of founders here. So different sectors, different technologies, different stages in their life cycles, and especially different objectives to join the competition, but they all joined and found value in attending. So I hope this is insightful to everyone. And if you're considering, you still have a couple of days to register, to apply. And with that, I'd like to ask a round of applause to our lovely panelists. Thank you so much.